Thank you, Linda, for this opportunity. I really want to say thank you for organizing this workshop. I think it's fantastic. I think every good story has a villain and a hero. And we all, I think, agree on who's the villain here. And in my point of view is that every one of us involved in the food industry should be a hero from now on. We have the information, we know what to do, and we should do it. I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek. Every organization, every person operates on 3 levels, as illustrated in this golden circle. What we do, how we do it, and why we do it. We all know what we're doing. Some of us know how we're doing it, but only a few of us can really say why we are doing what we do. Linda asked, are we doing enough? I think we should ask ourselves, why are we doing it? Is it to pass an auditor's checklist? Or is it because we really care about food safety and about consumer protection? Now, Listeria monocytogenes is widely spread in the environment. Many speakers already spoke about it. It's found in a variety of foods. In fact, they are found in just about any cool and damp environment. Effective control of Listeria monocytogenes is challenging, and listeriosis is a serious disease. Because Listeria monocytogenes is so pervasive, it is constantly reintroduced into the processing environment. Controlling measures can reduce the level of contamination, but it cannot eradicate it from the processing environment or totally eliminate the potential of contamination of the final products. Because Listeria is constantly being reintroduced, an ongoing monitoring program directed at checking and controlling the production environment to prevent the establishment and growth of Listeria must be in place. A holistic approach must be used to find the solution. And the involvement and commitment of management is crucial. Not only to protect their business, but also to assure consumer protection. All raw materials entering the processing area are a potential source of contamination. Important points should be considered, such as unpacking of incoming products and purchasing from a reputable company with a food safety program and quality system in place. The facility location, design, and structure plays a big role in controlling Listeria in the processing environment, especially ready-to-eat products that requires post-processing handling and packaging. The objective of designing and constructing a food processing facility are to minimize harborage, eliminate the entrance of pests and other sources of contamination, to design and build in features that protect the food from contamination. The ultimate goal for the planners and designers must be the protection of the food. It goes without saying that all equipment, especially in high-risk areas, should be of good hygienic design and construction, preferably stainless steel. The equipment should be maintained and parts replaced when worn and damaged. The internal area of the food facility, the processing area, should be designed to facilitate cleaning and sanitation. And they should have sufficient drainage, and the floor should not allow pooling of water, especially in the high-risk areas. Floor drains are a major source of microbial contamination. Many speakers already pointed that out. Thus, they really require special attention. So floor drains should be adequate number and size. I've been to many facilities where there's no drainage in the floors, because the building was originally not built to be a food facility. It should be appropriately located, no water running on the floor, as Andrew said, designed and installed so that they are cleanable, designed and installed so that they can handle the traffic that goes over it. Hygienically designed and in stainless steel. You still see plastic floor drains in food facilities. Maintained in good repair to prevent blockages and backups. Drains from the dirty or the draw side should not connect to those of the clean and cook sides. Failure to control Listeria contamination on floors and drains will increase the likelihood that packaging lines will eventually be affected or infected. Maintaining clean, dry floors and drains will contribute to Listeria and biofilm control. Drains should be cleaned thoroughly and ideally first, then the rest of the facility and the equipment, and then cleaned again. The perfect way to clean it is to foam clean the whole facility and everything then through the drain. Now because drains is my special, I think, I would say love, maybe it is. Okay, I've included a couple of pictures on how it shouldn't be done. Okay, and a trench drain in a meat processing plant or in any facility is not appropriate. You cannot clean it properly. And yes, I know that Viken has designed specially brushes to clean on the inside of the drain. It's still not done effectively. So it should be an open drain that you can open up and clean up. Also, I can see many niches for Listeria in that drain, and that's in a meat processing plant in South Africa. It's not designed correctly. Yes, it's an old facility, but old facilities should be updated. This is another drain where you can see that the drain was not designed to handle the traffic over it. So eventually what happens with all the trolleys, smoke trolleys and meat trolleys going over it, the whole drain top eventually is broken apart, and you actually remove it from the drain in pieces. Also, once again, there's a trench drain, and especially in a meat facility, it's impossible to clean it. There's another one showing, and the problem is with these type of drains is that this part is usually only 3 millimeter thick. And what happens is that when you put it into the floor, it's not always possible to fill these areas up with the top screed. And you get the drains that is actually bending in these areas, and then you start having a nice crack around your drain. The other thing that happens is that, once again, the drain top, because it consists of various parts, only 3 millimeter thick, and it cannot handle the traffic that goes over it. And guys, it's not only trolleys that's the traffic, also humans. Just stop on the R21 at the one stop and go and have a look in the drains in the toilets. Now, I don't know about the men, but those stops looks exactly like that in ladies' toilets. So that's just normal ladies walking over a drain and bending it like that. And of course, I have to introduce a well-designed and well-installed drain. As noted before, meat, poultry, vegetables, dairy products, fish products, and other raw materials may be contaminated. These ingredients should be managed as if they are contaminated, and measures should be in place to prevent that cross-contamination can take place. Product flow through the processing facility should be linear, from raw materials to finished products to prevent cross-contamination. Operations should be compartmentalized to enhance the separation of raw ingredients and processed products. Dedicated washing areas and cleaning systems should be provided for cooked and processed foods equipment and raw material processing equipment. A clean, dry processing environment is preferred to a wet environment during production. So no in-between cleaning. You clean at the end of the day. Rework and trash containers should be well marked and color-coded so that they are not used elsewhere in the facility. Separate utensils, trolleys, equipment, cleaning utensils, etc., color-coded should be used in high-risk areas. Wet process areas should be isolated from other production areas, and standing water should be removed as soon as possible. High-risk areas should be separated from other processing areas. Equipment, utensils, and people in raw and process areas sites should not interchange during production. Regular scheduled maintenance outside working hours should reduce the potential of contamination. Maintenance staff should be trained in hygiene practices. It's often neglected. Proper cleaning of maintenance, after maintenance should be done. And then, of course, dedicated tools for the high-risk area. And if there's no dedicated tools for the high-risk area, the tool should be sterilized before it goes into the facility. So the recommendation is just have 2 sets of tools. Maintenance guys should also have a change in shoes. They come from outside, go into the facility, go into the high-risk area with all the same clothing, blue overalls and their safety shoes, and all hygiene procedures is totally ignored. Effective cleaning and sanitizing is vital to control and eliminate Listeria and other microorganisms in the processing area. Cleaning and sanitation should be seen as 2 separate operations. Cleaning is a removal of the waste and the dirt, and sanitation is reducing the number of microorganisms. The manner in which equipment and the processing environment is cleaned, sanitized, should be tailored for the individual business, and it should preferably be low-pressure foam cleaning systems. Dedicated washing areas for cleaning equipment should be isolated from the production area. Hoses in high-risk areas must be removed before the start of production, or they must be properly hanged on retractable stainless steel hose reels and controlled during production. Too many times you see walking into an area and you find the hose reels lying in a pool of water on the floor. Utensils like knives on slaughter and deboning lines must be washed before it's placed into the water sterilizers. So often it goes straight from the line into the hot water, and isn't it the perfect way of creating biofilm on those knives? The cleanup staff should be well trained in the proper procedure to control Listeria monocytogenes, and they should be closely monitored for improvement and maintaining high levels of importance. Cleaning staff are usually the lowest income, least educated, least training staff. Guys, we are putting our facilities, the risk of our companies, in the hands of untrained, uneducated people. I cannot understand that. It should be the best people that you can have should be on your cleaning team. Good personal, well, I'm sorry, I missed the line there. Dedicated washing areas. Oh, I already did that, sorry. I skipped. I'm getting too worked up. I apologize. This is, as you can see, this is really my passion. This is why I'm doing it. Okay, good personal hygiene practices is vital in food processing facilities to prevent the cross-contamination of food from people and equipment. For ready-to-eat food production, it is especially important. Development of employee hygiene procedures to prevent the contamination of food contact surfaces should be the responsibility of management. The employee should be responsible for preventing contamination of food products, and the management should be responsible for ensuring that the employee is properly trained and maintain good practices. All staff, including non-food handlers, especially maintenance, should be trained in and follow good personal hygiene practices. Additional training should occur for all staff that works in high-risk areas. Visitors, including management from outside, should also follow good hygiene practices. Find the guy that ignores all the rules and ask who he is. He's either the owner or the manager. One important aspect of effective control is the movement of personnel to prevent cross-contamination. Should establish traffic patterns that are well-designed hygiene entrances before entering the food processing area to avoid personnel from entering without appropriate hygiene practice like washing and sanitizing hands or moving between raw and finished product areas. Direct access to high-risk areas from low areas should be avoided. And where is that area? Usually the smoking cooking area. How many facilities have a separate cooking area or a separate dirty area, cooking area in between and a packaging or high-risk area behind it? Very few. But luckily, there's some guys that are really doing it right. Everyone in production and in high-risk areas should understand the purpose of wearing clean garments and disposable gloves. And I'm once again in the wrong page. Okay. Can I start again? Clean gloves, smocks, and overcoats. Conti suits and aprons are essential to protect against product contamination. Ideally, there should be different colors for the raw and the cook side. Disposable gloves, aprons, and sleeves should be used preferably in high-risk areas. We did argue about that yesterday. But disposable items should be discarded when the work area is left and replace it with new items when the employee returns. Everyone working in production and in high-risk areas should understand the purpose of wearing clean garments and disposable gloves is to protect the product from contamination and not to protect the employee from getting dirty. The need of washing hands should not be precluded by the use of gloves. If an unclean surface is touched, then the hands should be washed and gloves changed. Shoe covers are not a replacement for proper boot and shoe washing areas. I also believe that those shoe covers are only there when the auditor's around. Usually it's not worn. Because they come off within the first 15 to 20 minutes, if that long. Okay, employee.
We're going to have the men say women talk too much.
Okay. Okay, I will come to a close. Okay, I just want to say that employees have certain responsibilities. And there's the FSIS did a compliance guidelines in 2014, and there it stipulates employee responsibility and management responsibility. Okay. So to conclude with everything, what we can conclude in all of this is that the total absence of Listeria monocytogenes in food processing environments cannot be expected. Therefore, environmental monitoring and corrective actions and procedures must be in place. One should consider that these bacteria can survive for long periods, as we discussed it before. Consumer protection largely depends on the prevention of contamination of foods in which they can occur. The question is, are we doing enough? And I want to say we can do a lot more. My last thing that I want to say is that effective hygiene and food safety systems involves management commitment. It's only then that it can work. Thank you very much. You're welcome to contact me for more information.